Hey, good afternoon to you. Mark Suttoth, HurricaneTrack.com here with your Hurricane Outlook and discussion. Tuesday, May 26, 2020. Got a few things to talk about today, so let's get right to it. Satellite picture here of a good deal of the Western Hemisphere reveals an area of disturbed weather. Actually, the low pressure area is over Florida, but this general storminess going to be interesting to watch. National Hurricane Center, of course, is monitoring it, and there's a chance that this could develop a little bit as it heads up towards the North Carolina, South Carolina coast over the next few days. I'll show you that on computer model simulation in just a moment. In the Southeast Pacific, we're watching this area for possible development. I think this has the best chance of becoming a robust, significant storm system, tropical storm, maybe a hurricane that would impact parts of Central America here over the coming days. Other than that, the tropics are generally quiet. Looks like a very weak tropical wave right here coming into the Lesser Antilles. This area down here needs the rainfall, but not much coming from the tropics right now. Dry pattern continues, and it's not usually until we get into July and August that the tropical waves become more robust themselves. So it could be a while, before there's much relief in terms of fresh water from some of these tropical waves falling from the sky to help fill your tanks. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but at least the flip side is you don't have any hurricanes to worry about either. All right, National Hurricane Center, 5-day outlook for the disturbance off the, well, it's on the coast, but it'll eventually get off the coast. Only 20% chance of development. The biggest thing here is that locally heavy rainfall, and boy, it's really been piling up in Florida. Some flash flooding, just lowland flooding, dangerous conditions on the roads, especially if you're going too fast and you hydroplane, etc. Be careful about that. And this whole mess is going to move northward off the coast into the southwest Atlantic, and so from Georgia into the Carolinas as it moves out of Florida. Gusty winds from time to time, especially for mariners and small craft just offshore, intracoastal waterways, that kind of thing. So as I try to tell you, take this into consideration and check weather.gov, check your sources of weather information for your area, and just be mindful that it's out there. It's not a really big deal overall, but if it flips your boat, or if you get caught in a rip current yourself because of this system, then for you, it is a big deal. So just use common sense, just making you aware of it, all right? In the Eastern Pacific, got an area of disturbed weather here with a 60% chance of development over the next few days, and this is just a general broad area of low pressure that's going to come together from energy that's trying to congeal in this region, trades coming in from the Atlantic and Caribbean side, meeting up with this convectively coupled Kelvin wave that's moving through, and that's probably going to set off our first tropical storm of the Eastern Pacific season. Here's the Vorticity Signature, and you can clearly see the energy associated with the disturbance in and around Florida and the adjacent coastal waters. We will watch this as it migrates eventually northward. Hopefully, it'll get out of there in this vicinity in time to allow the launch tomorrow of the 2 crew members that are going to be heading into space, from the SpaceX venture. We wish them the best of luck. It's not just about conditions at Cape Canaveral. It's conditions around the adjacent coastal waters in case there has to be any kind of a rescue. A lot goes into it. We will be watching for that. Exciting times for sure. No real sign of energy coming together quite yet down here, but that's going to change. It's a slow process, and we'll see that developing over the next few days. Severe weather-wise and just general lower 48 weather, besides the rain and unsettledness down here along the Florida coast and elsewhere, upper level energy and disturbances over here in parts of the Great Plains continues. That is where I am with a couple of my colleagues. We're going to be testing the weather balloon, hopefully starting tomorrow, and then again Thursday, or we would do it Thursday, Friday. We're just deciding, have a little bit of time to watch and see what happens, and I'll talk about that more in just a moment. So real quick, GFS 12Z run coming out right now as I'm recording this. Here's our disturbance down here, and this is a different map than I'm used to showing you, just kind of mixing things up a little bit. This shows the 6-hour average precipitation rate And this just gives you a general idea of where the heavier rainfall is and the overall look of the system, surface pressures, and whatnot. And you can see it's a 1010 millibar surface low right there over east central Florida, and the adjacent coastal waters has this rain shield out there. 1010 millibars is not particularly low, obviously, but it's not 1014 either. So, there is low pressure there. There is a surface low there. It's analyzed by the GFS. And let's watch what happens as that moves off. If we move through every 6 hours, it gets into the Atlantic, moves up towards just offshore of Georgetown, South Carolina, Cape Fear, you name it, Myrtle Beach. And this would be by tomorrow morning. So heavy rainfall, maybe some gusty winds, and then look, it figures. I am over in Oklahoma City, and this is happening back where I live. Well, at least it's just 10, 11 millibars, okay? I'm not going to miss much. But that being said, a big slug of moisture probably going to come in and bring some heavy rain to parts of down east North Carolina. The coastal water is going to be kind of nasty, so be careful if you're out there in a boat. And if you're going to the beach, well, that's just not looking real good. You're going to have to wait. This eventually does move inland, as you can see. And look, it gets off the coast, it comes up, and then it ends up here in parts of south central Virginia. And so that heavy rain will go with it. Some areas need the rain, some areas not so much, as long as it keeps moving, and it does, it gets out of there. As you can see, not too bad. Then a front comes through as we get further out into time, whatever. But nothing else really brewing in the tropics to be worried about over the next few days. I just want to broaden this out a little bit and show you what's happening in the southeastern Pacific. Again, we're out here at about let's just take it out to day 5, shall we? Well, by day 5, it's inland. But you see down there in the southeast Pacific, right there, there's that system we were watching, and it looks like it does come together. It's probably a tropical storm. You never know. Sometimes those things ramp up quickly. Heavy rain, Guatemala, El Salvador, Central America as a whole down there. We will be watching that because even freshwater flooding from tropical cyclones, as you know, can be a big problem. All right, again, looking at lower 48 weather just for a moment because of the upper level disturbances still hanging out in this area. The east side of it has been ripe for storms, training storms, where the storms go over the same location like a train, has been leading to some flooding and other severe weather. A few tornadoes here and there, but not a widespread outbreak by any means. So that's not too big of an issue. You know what? I don't know if this is an old image or not. There we go. It was an old image. Darn that. I was thinking that looks like yesterday. Nevertheless, the same generally holds true. Flash flood watches in parts of Arkansas, and then up here along Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, just a tiny part of Iowa, northwest Missouri. But the same holds true, that this upper level energy that's kind of stuck over here on the east side of it, these disturbances ride from south to north, kind of odd, but that's what they're doing. And we're getting the threat of some severe weather on a limited basis. Mainly it's heavy rain and flooding. This right here is interesting. This green color in Nevada, just in case you're wondering, that is a hydrologic outlook for snowmelt from the snows up in the mountain areas over the winter and the spring here. And the heat is on. That's what these pinkish colors are. That's for heat advisories and whatnot. Excessive heat watch or warnings. It's baking in the southwest, and so they're going to have some rapid snowmelt. And so any of our viewers up here in Nevada, be mindful of that, all right? Definitely some stream increases and river increases as the snow melts over the coming days. All right, convective outlook time. This is the day 1 outlook, so this is today. Highest risk overall of severe weather up here in the upper Midwest. Maybe some marginal conditions down here off the Carolina coast. The lighter green is just general pop-up summertime thunderstorms. No massive areas to worry about. Then tomorrow, I'm kind of interested in this. Again, I'm up here in Oklahoma City with my crew, and we want to get over here to Dodge City. That's roughly where Dodge City is. But I'm also curious, maybe we would drop south and try to launch somewhere in here. But the terrain over here for our testing of our weather balloon is a lot easier to deal with in Kansas than it is in Texas. So we're torn. So we're going to wait and see what the latest update from the SPC is shortly after I finish this video, is when that'll come out, and we will decide from there. Nevertheless, this is what it looks like for tomorrow, and then on day 3, again, no major severe weather problems. And the month of May has been quite the low month, thank goodness, for tornadoes. April was very busy. May has turned out to be anything but. And that's good news. And as we look through the week ahead, no major severe weather outbreaks noted, just your general garden variety, pop-up thunderstorms here and there. So again, we're in Oklahoma City, my crew and I'm here with Brent and my friend Mike, and we're hoping to get up here to Wichita and then over to Dodge City area, somewhere in there. That's the plan. But if we are lured south by the prospect of supercells for tomorrow, maybe, just maybe, we would consider going to this area, but that's more hill country, harder to recover the balloon, a lot of other issues. It just might be more prudent for testing the weather balloon to stick to the plan and get over to Kansas, where the recovery part is very easy. But we'll see. We'll keep you updated. We will be streaming live tomorrow when we do so. I'll post that information on my social media. The live stream will be on YouTube for everybody to watch because of our patrons on Patreon supporting this from the financial side of things, helping to make this possible, and we appreciate that. So either tomorrow or definitely by Thursday, we're going to be testing the hurricane research balloon in Kansas or Texas, probably Kansas to be honest with you, but we'll see. All right, so there you go. I'm done. Pretty short today comparatively. You guys have a great rest of your Tuesday as always. Thank you so much for tuning in and giving me some time to talk to you. I am Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com. I'll be back with more for you tomorrow.